Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Rowena Christiansen and I'm the Topic Coordinator for Human Health in the Space Environment, and I would like to share with you a brief introduction and overview of the subject. We have a welcome page which you can click to enter mission control, and there's also there an acknowledgement of country which I would encourage you to read through. On the home page, there's a link to the current version of this video, along with all the tiles for the body system components, a number of headings which convey really important information for you. And then the welcome tab is the first one that starts things off. Next, we have the mission outcomes, which are the learning outcomes for this particular subject, and there are 5 of these which carry through the year. There's also a page for Meet Your Crew and for the health practitioners that are available to assist you should you need this. So during the course of the year, we'll be updating the list of guest presenters. There's a page for requirements, which is the assessments to complete. There are 3 assessments for the year, and if you click on the little ticks, that brings up the individual information for them. There's also a linked assessment page which breaks down the information by assignment, and there's a great deal more information there, and also a summary of the assessment dates, information about plagiarism, penalties, extensions and special consideration, and attendance requirements. There's also an assignments tab in Canvas on the left hand side which you can click on, and once again it will bring up a list of assignments, and then if you click on those, that will present further information for you, and the assessment rubrics for each assignment are also available. Going back to the home page, there's a tab for the schedule that gives you the key dates for the year, and there'll also be a graphic representation of that which will be updated from time to time as we know who our guest presenters are going to be. There's also a uniform tab, and this has a copy of the certification of successful mission completion that you can download and customize at the end of the year. We also have a mission patch. Every good space mission has to have a mission patch. And then there's a link to a Redbubble store where you can purchase items with the mission patch on it should you wish to do so. A unique feature of our course is that we've incorporated the LEGO Build to Launch series. This is a collaboration between LEGO and NASA, and it was developed in the lead up to the Artemis 1 mission, and it's a great way of learning about everything that goes into making a space mission successful. There are a whole set of informative tabs for the LEGO Build to Launch program, and the 10 videos for you to watch are divided into 3 modules, and there will also be 2 dedicated LEGO design tutorials in semester 2. If you work through the tabs, there's an introduction to give you some more general information, and then there's information about the overall program design, the problem-based learning process, the engineering design process, and the scientific research process, all of which will hopefully be helpful to you in your studies generally, and also a list of the key dates. The activities for this program are divided into thought-based activities, and those particular items will form the basis of your first assignment, the group video assignment. And then the design-based activities will form the basis of the 2 collaborative tutorials in semester 2, where you can brainstorm together and come up with some clever designs to address the questions that are being raised. And there is more detailed information about the program structure, a series timeline in a graphic representation, and quick links to each of the modules and tutorials, and then they all have their own separate menus. Another unique aspect of our course is that we've incorporated spin-offs, or the translational benefits of research done in space. And this will form the basis of your final assignment for the year, so we encourage you to write a short reflection on this at the end of each block. And then there's a long list of resources available for you to have a look at. And this is probably a good point to mention that part of what we're aiming for with the assessments is to help you to develop skills in science communication, as health professionals need to be good communicators as well as good clinicians. Now moving on to the foundation block. This is set out in a fairly similar way to all the other blocks, with a set of standard tabs at the top, which give you an introduction, your to-do list for this particular block, an inspiration for you to look at, and then some extension information as well. There are also the tiles for the various activities in the block, and then just having a quick look at the introduction page. This contains some background information, a link to the current version of this video, and then 2 videos about aerospace medicine for you to choose from. The other aspects, there's a to-do list, which is always broken up into tasks on the left-hand side and key dates on the right-hand side. There's also some inspiration for you to have a look at. And then there's a list of extension resources, and this includes textbooks, things that you can find in the library, organisations that you might be interested in joining or having a look at, and online resources and videos. And there's also a little button at the top that allows you to go back to the home page at any time. Our first tutorial is called the Mission Briefing, and this has a little bit more detail than the tutorials for the remainder of the year, which will focus on the tutorial activities. This time we have a little introduction, and then the tutorial activities relates to the preparation and other tasks for this first tutorial. The tutorial section sets out the activities that we will undertake during the tutorial, and then there are some post-tutorial tasks for you to complete that involve putting some comments on the discussion boards. There are 2 boards there for you to have a look at, and also finding an inspirational quote to put on the Padlet on the home page. We're also aiming to bring you a special guest speaker each block, and there is a separate tile for that on each home page, and a similar structure for all of these sessions, which will be conducted over Zoom. There's a biography for the guest speaker, any relevant details about the webinar and the recording if we have consent to record. And then there's a discussion Padlet, which we encourage you to put some comments there and join in discussion with your fellow students. Each block also has an EVA, or extravehicular activity, and a spacewalk or spacewalks. In the foundation block we have 2 spacewalks, and this is a bit of a recurring theme, but you will see the same tab headings for each of the spacewalks, and there'll also be an introduction at the top, a to-do list, and an inspirational photograph. All the spacewalks are structured in a fairly similar fashion, with a list of tabs at the top that you can work through to complete the spacewalk. And in this case, the spacewalk is about space as an extreme environment. We start with an introduction. The spacewalk aims are the learning objectives. Explore is the set of learning resources which have been provided for you to work through. Discuss is a Padlet, an opportunity to share your thoughts with your fellow students. There are 3 general points plus 3 specific points for this spacewalk. And then in the review section, in this case it's a quiz, but it could be extension activities or crosswords. So it varies from block to block. And then there's a list of optional extra resources for you to have a look at if you would like to explore things further. This is a representation of what the Explore section of the first spacewalk looks like. So it begins with a Padlet where you can add your own thoughts, and then there are 5 concertinas for you to work your way through in order to complete the activities. The second spacewalk is about a brief history of human spaceflight and ongoing hazards, and is structured in exactly the same way as the first spacewalk. And there's also a list of additional resources at the end, which are optional, but you may find these to be of interest. This includes textbooks, articles, online web pages, and videos. And just taking a closer look at the Explore section of the second spacewalk, there's some information about where the term astronaut comes from. And then there are 3 little concertinas for you to work through as well. So that's a wrap for now. I hope that you enjoy the subject and get a lot out of it. And if you have any questions, please be sure to let me know. Thank you.